We do not usually think of it, but sound plays an important role in video games. It significantly contributes to the immersion, affects your emotions as you play, and if done wrong can outright ruin the entire experience. This is no different in TF2, where sound does not only support the game, it characterizes it. Sound in TF2 can be distinguished into three categories: music, voice lines, and sound effects. All three categories play an important part in the way you experience the game. The soundtrack, however, is limited to the main menu and does therefore not affect your emotions as you play. Nonetheless, Valve Studio Orchestra has done an incredible job on the TF2 soundtrack, called Fight Songs, the music of Team Fortress 2, which is mostly used in animated shorts that provide additional lore in the mercenaries and accompany certain major updates. On the other hand, the voice lines of the classes are truly something unique to TF2. They intertwine the lore of the animated shorts and comics into the gameplay directly. When you play Soldier and he shouts,
"You're like the Cyclops of Greek myth, except you are Scottish and I hate you!"
after you dominate the enemy Demoman, you know it has to do with the rivalry between the Blue Soldier and Red Demoman ever since the War update released in 2009. Another one is when the spy dominates the enemy scout and he says,
"Well, off to visit your mother!"
referring to the relationship between Blue Scout's mum and Red Spy, which was first hinted at in Meet the Spy, also from 2009. There are countless examples like these for every class, and not only when dominating an enemy player. I would argue that the voice lines are the single most important thing in TF2 after the gameplay. They add depth by connecting the player playing the game and the class that the person is playing. The sound category is rather broad, but for the sake of this video, I'll only focus on weapon sounds. A whole other video could be spent on the UI sounds and how satisfying it is to spam the main menu medal. Probably the most controversial sound in TF2 by far is you're either on the right side of history or the wrong one, and this is no different with random crits. Not only is it satisfying to hear a random crit trigger on your weapon, the bass boost of your hit sound when you deal damage with said crit is also orgasm worthy. Love or hate them, but random critical hits sound satisfying. A sound that does not happen often and is unique in the sense that the entire server gets to experience it is I'm delightful that these do not happen that often, as hearing it multiple times per round will probably turn it from satisfying into annoying. For now, the mechanical kill sound effect is most certainly part of the list. The most satisfying sound in all TF2 in my opinion is I simply cannot get enough of it and long for more every time I hear it. To this day, I still wonder whether it's a heavily edited version of the Demoman's voice actor saying double donk. Another one of my favorites is the impact of the flying guillotine with another player. It really does sound like you hit some meatbag on the other side of the map who is now bleeding to death whilst you're encircling them, missing all of your shots. Hearing this makes up for it though. Do you not love hearing when you're beating a heavy eating a sandwich to death? Or what about when you're only good enough to hit a home run in a game and not out on the field? But there's nothing as satisfying as turtling behind your level 3 sentry right next to your level 3 dispenser near your level 3 teleporter to fill your ears with. It is the only way to truly experience the engineer and all his capabilities within the game. Then there are several weapons that make you want to empty your clip even when there's no enemy in sight. I'm obviously talking about the Iron Bomber, which sounds simply perfect in any way possible. For the scout, the equivalent would be the sound that the backscatter makes. It sounds like the scattergun, but just much more satisfying. Speaking of which, the scattergun does not sound bad either. It is just not as satisfying as the backscatter is. Technically speaking, the original is not unique to TF2, it is taken from Quake, but that does not make it sound any worse. To the pyro mains out there, I think we can all agree that the flare gun, followed by that 90 damage critical hit, is a pleasure for the ears. The last one I want to mention is the Diamondback for the Spy. It just sounds like there's so much power behind it. This is by no means a complete list, far from it. One could even argue that every weapon sounds satisfying given the right circumstances. However, we can all conclude that the sound design is of extraordinary level in TF2. The music is top notch, the voice actors did a tremendous job in characterizing the characters, and the weapons make you want to take on the entire enemy team. It is one of TF2's strongest suits and I hope it will stay that way. I just wish that deaf people would be able to experience TF2 the way we can.